Guys, welcome back. It is your favorite Gimp with the Limp, and I'm here with what's probably going to be my last video for Incountry for a little while. We're down to 2 Rangers. They're not looking too good. I don't think they're going to be sticking around too much longer. So we're going to make one last Hail Mary attempt. See if we can potentially find wherever the prisoner is and try to run. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And then we're going to touch on some final thoughts of the game. All right, so we still have 4 guys over there. We got a couple there. We got 3 that are coming way back there. And then another 3 down over here to the bottom right. You can't really see yet. So we're, let's see. What are we going to do? Left building, right building. Oh, no. Left is right, right is wrong, right? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to activate them. Pull off that. And they're going to run forward. And for ease, since it's a little hard to put them up there, we're going to say they're tucked into this little stairwell here. The one that goes up to the top of the buildings. Basically, they're in there. One's up against this corner, one's up against this corner, kind of peeking around, doing the best they can. And we're going to check left building. We're hoping for the best. There is a prisoner. There is a prisoner in the left building. They actually did find him there at the end. Look at that. No kidding. All right, so that's going to be their activation, their special thing. They moved up and they checked the building to see where the prisoner was, and they actually found the prisoner. But again, I am giving them cover because they're tucked into that little spot there in between the buildings. All right, so it's pretty much now just bad guys. Are they going to be able to fire and get them? And are we returning fire or are we not returning fire? I think we'll activate this group, or do we want to activate the group on the right? I think I'm just going to activate these guys and call them a whole group because there's a whole bunch of them over here. Let's see, that's 4. There's 5 there. Am I missing some that I haven't put back? I know I got the 3 over there. Yeah, no, there'll be 12. I only have 12 of the insurgents, which I am going to be printing more of those. I'll talk to you guys about that later, but I'm definitely going to be printing some more of these minis. All right, so anyway, yeah, let's just activate the 5. We'll give them the best possible chance. So they're activating the 5, and what do we do? Are we taking cover? Are we not taking cover? I think we want a running firefight. So if I return fire with them, because they're engaging, which means they can move up to an inch. And we'll give them just a little bit of maneuvering here as they're coming around. Wait, this was on them. Screw it, we're taking that off because I don't remember what happened with that, so they would be defensive anyway. So, yeah, move this guy up just a little bit with all of them. And if they're engaging, that means they only get their inch move. But if they return fire, which I am going to have them return fire as they try to pick off some of these guys, because if they can actually pick off a few, they might actually make it out. That means they need normal shots instead of, or normal grips rather than hard grips, which they get to fire first. So they're looking for 9s on this dice roll. 5 9s. But the Rangers will get potential to shoot back. And, oh my God, they got 2 hits. Oh, they got 2 hits. Look at that. That is so horrible. All right. The Rangers are shooting back. They'll require normal grips. Their normal grips are 5, which means they can potentially save it if they get some good dice rolls. Let's use our black ones here. Black die for good luck. They've got 2 hits. Rangers are shooting back. And if they get 8 or above, they effectively can cancel out these hits because they ace the shot. Right? So let's roll for them. What do you got, big boy? Come on. We need 8 or above on both of these to kill off insurgents and get these hits blocked. Oh, that's weak. They only got a single hit. Single hit and no ace. The dice gods just let them down at the end. All right, so total, the Rangers have 2 saves to make. Bad guys have a single save. All right, we need 2 5 or above. Can you get it? Come on, Rangers, save it, boys. Oh, they saved one. They're down to one guy. One guy, man, still kicking, and they're probably gonna get suppressed. So, have to do that. Will the insurgents save it? No, they don't save it, so they'll lose a guy. Pull him off. All right, gotta check them both. Since they both lost guys, they're normal. Black will be for the Rangers on whether or not they get suppressed. Rangers pass and the insurgents pass. Neither one gets suppressed. No kidding. All right, and again, they're just trying to make it across this road down south into the woods that are just south of this little asphalt road. So we're doing a reposition. We're basically having them run up into whatever potential cover they can get. Essentially, they've untied the prisoner. And he's trying, I should have him pick up the Ranger's weapon from the one that just died, but we're not going to worry about that. So they're moving up. They will get a defensive token, which will be able to stay now that the insurgents are activating. But they're doing a reposition, which means the insurgents do get to ambush. So they will ambush because, yeah, it'll take them at least one more turn to get around. 2 more turns because they're just not going to have enough movement. Getting across the car will cut too much. It's 2 turns regardless. 1 to get across or 1 to get around, and then another to actually escape. So they got at least 2 more rounds of shooting to attempt to get out. But anyway, yeah, definitely going to ambush. They're not going to be able to return fire. And it doesn't matter which one attempts to shoot at them. They're going to be taking 4 shots. So 4 shots, but they're only hitting on 10s because they got the repositioned defensive marker. And nothing. Whiff. They got jack squat, no hits. Good stuff. All right, so nothing to worry about. Now it goes to the bad guys activating. Bad guys are definitely going to push up. They're going to try to assault. So they'll get some inches. We'll move this little group up over here, trying to get on them. That's definitely going to put them in that close range. So they'll fire. And what are we doing? What are we doing here? Well, they've already got the defensive token from their reposition on the previous activation, so they're good to go ahead and just ambush, take their 1 shot, try to hit them. So let's see. We'll give a single black die for the 1 guy that I got left that can shoot, and this will take effect. The black die takes effect before theirs, and they're again only hitting on 10s. All right, so what are we rolling for them? What did they get? Oh! Well, we actually do have some hits coming across. They got a hit, and the Ranger did get a hit. The rest of it missed, so they have got some injury tokens going across both sides. Getting hits in. It doesn't matter if he kills it first because their shots still came in. So let's see if they are able to save it. 9 or better. And they do save it. Oh, look at that. They pull it out. Let's go ahead and test them for suppression while I'm thinking about it. Just to have it done with. And they saved that too. Good grief. They're not even suppressed. All right, here we go. We need a decent roll for the Ranger. Ranger, are you going to survive? No. Right there at the end, he gets the 1, he gets hit, and he is down. Boom. And they are able to recapture the prisoner. Numbers were able to beat out skill in this set, unfortunately. But I think I kind of gave them the advantage. They had a good amount of guys, and it's just so hard to get there. I should have put a little more cover in there for the Rangers to move across. Oh, and this little toy my wife had got me. She got it for me in honor of my old truck. I used to have a truck like this. Back when I drove, So I was like, screw it, it's close enough, it'll work. I'm gonna throw it on the table next time for terrain. All right, as far as this game goes, I gotta say, I like it, and I definitely like the minis. I'm gonna do a video talking about the minis and where you can get them and where you can get the files separately. That way it'll be easier for people to find it. And I especially like the fact that a good chunk of what they make, they do donate towards preventing veteran suicide. Awesome. Really appreciate them doing that. So I want to make a video separately talking about the stuff that they're selling. But to mention it here, you can go to their website. You can either buy the STL files that you can print yourself, or there's like a subscription model thing where you get a different selection models each month. Like I said, I'm gonna do a video talking about it, but right now they've got a pretty decent setup. It looks like there's one where you can get, if you like get into it now, you get some operator looking guys, right? Minis kind of like this. They're a little bit different. I know they had like short sleeves instead of like full camis. But operators, and this month's selection was like 6 different types of insurgents plus motorcycles. So if you want little vehicles, you could get add into little motorcycles, get it for March, and you get a selection, I think like 10, 12, somewhere around there, different minis that you get the files for, you can print off. Really cool stuff. And like I said, you can buy the files themselves from these guys so you can make your own. Now these, you have to have a resin printer. You're not making one of these with an FDM printer. FDM printer are the ones that have the little nozzle that's hot that goes down and melts plastic and makes it, right? You're not going to make one of these minis using FDM. Has to be resin. Resin is the liquid that is cured using a UV light, and it turns into this. I actually have a resin printer going right now. With resin printers, you can make minis like this. And I actually screwed this one up. I messed up the supports there on the left arm, and it did not print it. But look at the detail. And this is just a random one I downloaded from online. All right, big orc. Looks awesome. Big hammer. I'm going to reprint this one so I can have the full mini. But you can do this type of printing, right? Real good detail with a resin printer. So you can make as many guys as you want. So something I was kind of thinking about doing is if I wanted to expand this into a bigger version and play more like bolt action, right? So bolt action has larger amounts of troops, right? These are smaller, right? You're looking at like fire team, squad, maybe platoon level at most. Here, bolt action, you're into platoons, up to companies, vehicles, all that other, happy good stuff. Well, you can go to that level if you're printing your own, because it's up to you. Make as many as you want. Paint them up, you're good to go. That's why I like the fact that if you get the files, it's yours. You make as many as you want. Color them up however you want. You're good to go. You got them. Have fun with it. Like I said, I'm definitely going to get some more of these files because the minis themselves are just excellent. And I'm terrified I'm going to break these. I barely want to touch them because I don't want to accidentally break them, but they look so damn good, right? These are just great modern miniatures. And having the ability to print them myself, I can make as many as I want if I break them. Not to mention the fact that if I want to scale these up a little bit, I can do that too. These are roughly 28 mil, maybe up to 30 mil, just depending. So Warhammer 40,000 is 32 mil scale. Bolt action is 28 mil scale, roughly. These are just a tiny, tiny touch bigger than bolt action. I mean, they're close enough. You can use it interchangeably. It's not a big deal. But also, if you're printing them yourself, you can easily scale it up, right? So you can bump it up just that couple of percentage, so you can make it to whatever size you want. Me, I would bump these up to 32 mil. I think it would work a little bit better, show the details a little more. Not to mention, I think that it's easier to paint those details and they look a little bit better when they're just a little bit bigger. FYI too, if you think it's expensive to get into printing, it's really not. You can get a decent 3D printer, resin printer, as cheap as $100-120 on Amazon. I've seen them go at relatively decent cost. Even now, you could get one. I was peeping it the other day, something like $180. And you think about how many things you can print off with that. It blows the cost out of the water, especially if you make any, let's say, IP stuff that might be 40K-esque. Make 1 or 2 minis and you've paid for the printer, right? Easily. Anyway, I'll stop talking up the printing aspect, but definitely check out a video I'm going to do separately where I'm showing off all the different types of miniatures you can print as far as this game's concerned, and the fact that you can use those minis in other games if you want as well. When it comes to Incountry specifically, I like the game, right? I like where the game's at now. If I had to rate it right now, I think it's definitely better heads up. I think it's more suited for that heads up play. It's just built around that. I don't think solitaire has really kind of been expanded upon or touched on all that much. I'm more focused on that. I house ruled a lot and kind of, fudged it to work for my ends. I think it can, but there would need to be some more changes looked into for it to have anything official, since the big part of this game is the fact that you're choosing what measures you're taking, and then your opponent is choosing what measure they're going to take in response to what you're doing. That's the biggest aspect of this game, which means it doesn't lend itself as much to solitaire play. It can be solitaire, but it's not the easiest to do. If you have someone to play heads up with, though, and you're looking for something that is not fantasy or future, you want like modern military, especially like some military vets out there like myself or some of the younger guys who want to have something to play that's a little more realistic instead of, fantasy, sci-fi, and all this other crap that just doesn't make you feel like you're playing a war miniatures game. This one is definitely worth checking out. The big thing to me is the fact that you're always responding, right? And I mentioned this earlier as we were playing it, but you're not sitting back. You're not just watching your opponent go through their turn, thumb in butt, waiting to have your turn. You are watching what they're doing so you can respond to their actions. And whatever actions they're picking determine what actions you have to choose from. Are you going to ambush them? Are you going to return fire at them? Are you going to take cover and try to preserve your own troops? You have so many different options. And I think they have the ability to expand upon those measures. Not just the measures that you're taking, but the measures that your opponent is going to take. Add in things like turret, which they could already be added in. I think there are rules in the back for all these different types of weapons, vehicles, turrets, grenades, RPGs, scatter, right? All that type stuff kind of get fleshed out some more. I know they're working on an expansion, to call it, basically some new rules for the game already. They're definitely going to keep fleshing it out. So I am expecting good things from them. Basically, it's good now, and it has the chance to be great later on. It's a nice foundation that can be built upon, that can go in any direction. I like that because it's part of the reason I like Core Space so much, and the fact that it's malleable. You can kind of play it the way you want to, but most of these games have that ability. You can kind of tweak them along in the direction that you need to. If they could find a way to make some type of official solitaire expansion, I would love it. I would definitely invest in it. I'm sure some others would as well, because I can't be the only guy that likes, modern military style stuff, but want to have a solitaire version I can play as well. I kind of like my idea of having asymmetric type forces with one side that's zombie-esque in the fact that they just keep coming, but they have incredibly horrible stats. I would just have to find a way to kind of randomize that a little bit more, which I haven't come up with just yet. But hey, maybe they will. Maybe I'll come up with something else, or you guys leave some suggestions down. Let me know what you think. Anyway, you guys stay tuned. I will have that video up showing some more of their minis and where you can get them. All the cool stuff. Definitely check that out. These are guys worth supporting, and the cause that they support, the charity, is definitely worth it, and we appreciate it. All right, that's going to be it for this one. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Y'all stay tuned. I have some really cool stuff coming up for you guys. A little hint, that Onus unboxing, if I've got that up yet, check that one out. It's going to be hitting the table here very soon. All right, y'all take care. I'll catch you in the next one.